Katie O'Reilly, and welcome to KTO's Food Carnival, Late Night Snacks, Episode 3 of a 4-part series. And you know why? Because there are so many craveable things in the late night hours. I couldn't stop, so here we go. Today in the Carnival Kitchen, we're going into some ethnic favorite bites and craveables in those wee late night hours. Join me in the Carnival Kitchen. Let's go. Hi, I'm Katie O'Reilly and welcome to KTO's Food Carnival, Late Night Snacks. This is our third episode, and where are we going? Into some ethnic favorites, because indulgence hits at all times in the late night hours, right? And we can crave anything, especially those salty, sweet, umami flavors with an Asian flair. I'm going to start you off with something that we all recognize, but we think of like our poor days in college, and it's ramen. And it has gone deluxe, late night style. I'm loving it. Let me show you a few tricks to ramen that you may not have known. Remember back in college when all you thought of was that little pack with the noodles and that flavor packet, which was all sodium. You couldn't even believe how much salt. Almost gave you a headache in the morning, and of course you thought, why am I so thirsty? It wasn't how much you drank the night before. It was that ramen you blamed it on, right? Yeah, well, here we are to solve that, because now, as adults, ramen is actually a deluxe, delicious meal, as we've discovered. And what is the difference? Well, the noodles are the same, quite honestly, and you can cook them in advance for your late night treat so that they're nice and supple and you don't have to wait for them to rehydrate. However, the secret is in the broth. And I am here to share with you a couple of secrets. Now, you can just cook down a chicken broth, one option. I've got a gorgeous vegetarian mushroom broth, which I've made with some dehydrated shiitakes, which we can actually add back into our ramen later. You'll see what I'm talking about. But this is for vegetarians, a gorgeous, rich mushroom broth. However, when we really want to get crazy and deluxe with our ramen, we mix a couple of varieties, especially if we're not vegetarian. So I'm going to tell you, yes, chicken stock, and then how about some pork stock for a little smokiness? And then this is what people don't tell you, dashi. And you're like, I hear people use that word all the time. What is it? Dashi is seaweed. It's a broth made from seaweed and bonito flakes. What is bonito? Bonito is a fish that swims deep in the ocean that is considered a bait fish. So it is used for things such as catching other fish and dried out and dehydrated to add flavor to your broth. It's a beautiful ingredient, and it's that simple. So the word dashi actually means seaweed and bonito. Together, adding that fishy element. Once again, we're avoiding sodium going into the broth. After we have that amazing broth and those noodles are all cooked up, what we really want to do is present a full display of ingredients. And let's build that ramen. Okay, so now we're going into the real deluxe with ramen. It's KTO in the Carnival Kitchen, and I'm going to show you the real vitamin-packed ramen that is our absolute culinary treat here. Okay, so I talked to you about the broth. I talked to you about the noodles. So here we go. Getting home late. Your friends are here. What's going on with your ramen experience? You heat your broth. That's simple. I'm going to have asked you to already prepare these following ingredients, however many as you want. I have shredded some chicken. So when you're making your broth, boil down that chicken and then shred it as an ingredient to go back in. That's always a beautiful trick to utilizing all aspects of that chicken. And chicken back in ramen is yummy in texture and flavor and all those good things. I've decorated it with some scallion just so it's not white on a plate. Highly recommended the visuals. I love spinach All you have to do is get the flat leaf, small leaf spinach and break off those stems. You're ready to roll. I've burst some tomatoes, which I'm going to actually hold up so you can see that they're nice and wrinkly. Just stick them in the oven for a little bit and get some of that water out so they're nice and supple and they're not too popping in your mouth when you're eating them in your soup. They kind of mellow in with it. Peas, green peas are earthy. Corn, same thing, that robust corn flavor, a little toothiness. And then as I mentioned, when we made that shiitake broth, you then are left with these gorgeous rehydrated mushrooms that definitely add that umami Chinese-y kind of feel. Oh, it's good. It's scented and it's beautiful. And they definitely have texture, so some people like them, some people don't. Carrot threads, always a color bomb in there. Now, here I've also recommended, if you're a pork eater, some Chinese barbecued pork. Take the tenderloin with some Chinese barbecue sauce, roast that up in advance, thin slice it. All of this can be cold or room temperature because your broth is nice and hot. Where do we go from here? We grab our ramen noodles. Check this out. We are building late night ramen. This is easy. You're gonna take a piece of pork or two, drop it in, and then this is how we're going deluxe with ramen. I say, I love it all, so bring it on. This is getting colorful as we speak. It's coming alive. Our eyes are jumping. Oh yeah. And then these scallions. Look at this. This is not your college ramen. I am telling you, deluxe ramen is where it's at. It's adult style, late night snacking. And when you're holding that hot bowl of deluxe goodness, you will be thrilled. With all that you've created, that beautiful broth is so full of layered flavors. You can't even quit it. It just keeps building. And the pork, it adds a smokiness. And these tomatoes, all those fresh ingredients, they cannot be beat. Truly. I'm moving on. I love Lao fried rice. Now let me show you the Lao ingredients. Hi, KTO here in the Carnival Kitchen, about to make a Lao sauce. Check it out. This is a dream sauce. It's got 1 cup of oil. I like to use an oil that can heat, so either a vegetable oil, a canola oil, something along those lines. And we are going to caramelize all the following ingredients. I've got some gorgeous shallots. Those are going to be fabulous. I've got my garlic and ginger all sliced and diced. All of this is going in. We're going to let this really, we've got this on a high heat, almost all the way to the top. So like right below high. And we are going to let this really cook down. So get that all laminated in your oil. You got to separate those because sometimes the shallots, even though we cut them all the way through, you see they kind of, we want to get it all in all those little layers. So break them up a little bit with your spatula. And then we are going to keep adding some spices. So watch the spices that we're adding as we're cooking this down. One of the main ingredients, sugar. I've got 2 ounces of sugar. That's going to add to the caramelization. About 1.5 ounces of soy. Oh, this is going to develop that richness. Now this is 1 ounce of paprika that's not spicy, but has great flavor. And this is cayenne. I would say 1/2 ounce on the cayenne. What we're also going to do is add 1 ounce of fish sauce to this. In a minute, we want to get some of the liquid cooked off. And that's going to be our recipe. This is going to cook down and I'm going to be right back and we're going to check out the finished product and what we're going to do with it. So cool. Lao sauce. Love it. And after we have that beautiful sauce, we fry up our rice And let me show you how to treat shrimp, just in case you want to add that extra super lao ingredient to the top. Hi, KTO here, and we just made that lao sauce. Once it's all caramelized, look at the texture it becomes. Now it does take a while to caramelize and reduce, so give yourself some patient time. And this is thick and rich. What to do with it then? We are absolutely going to saute our rice in it because that's why it's a lao fried rice, so we're going to fry our rice in it. However, in this recipe, we're doing a lao marinated shrimp to go on top of that. So I've got these colossal, I love these shrimps. And I'm going to remind you of the obvious with shrimp. You want to devein them, clean them out. Nobody wants to eat the poopy. Okay, and we are just going to totally lacquer these. These are going to be fully covered and set aside in our fridge for 12 hours to marinate. After they're done, spread them out on your cookie tray, put them in your oven at 400 for about 8 minutes, and they are going to be beautiful and lacquered in that lao sauce. These are spicy and sweet all at the same time. They've got a gorgeous saltiness to combine with that. They are brilliant with that lao fried rice. And when it's all beautifully presented, why don't you serve it up in a Chinese to-go container? Because when you're partying and it's been late, you don't want to risk anything too fragile with your friends. These are perfect. If they get dropped, oh well. If you have to wrap up the leftovers, you just fold it and put it in your fridge, right? But this is fun. You're still hanging out talking. This works every single time. There's a spiciness and a sweetness to that beautiful lao sauce that really absolutely taps into that late night palate. Those cravings get everything they're looking for because what you want to do is dance in your tongue and everything. All right, we are now moving on to the bao bun, a 5-spice bao bun. Now this is a real treat. Let's steam up some buns. Hi, KTO here. My hair is not looking quite so fluffy. Look at what I've got going on. This is a steamer for our bao bun. Check this out. Now, I've got the industrial size. They definitely sell them smaller. But look at this. How cool. You lay those buns out. Right? We are dishing up some steam, people. Oh, dim sum, dim sum. Yes, we have going on. So delicious. You know what's coming next? Can you believe you can even make this at home? It's that easy. Oh, yes. And like I said, steam your face, steam your hair as a refresher while you're doing your bun. And then if you look, I've got a crunchy slaw. What do I do with that? Let me show you why we do that slaw. Check it out. Hi, KTO, in the Carnival Kitchen making our slaw for our bao bun. Let's get into our dressing. This is incredibly zesty and it goes on top of a 5-spice pulled pork inside of that gorgeous, tender, steamed bao bun. Okay, the ingredients to this are incredibly well blended. I have 3 ounces of olive oil. Now, I'm only doing a 1/2 ounce of sesame oil because you want a little of the flavor, but if you go overboard on that, you're absolutely going to have too much flavor in that sesame. I've got 2 ounces of soy sauce to add. Now, I've got 3 ounces of gorgeous red wine vinegar, which I love. Rice wine vinegar. I love it because it has that like little bit sweet, real zesty, acidic flavor, and it really brightens any kind of heavier meat. This is a little bit of mirin, about 1 ounce of mirin, and mirin is kind of a rice cooking wine. And it's got an interesting flavor, so taste it before you add it to make sure it's something that you like. Salt and pepper. Let's go with a 1/2 ounce, but that's to flavor because you've already added soy. I've got 2 ounces of ground ginger. I have 2 tablespoons of ground garlic. Oh, that's gonna be good. And then I've got 2 ounces of packed brown sugar. So all of this goes in. We whisk it up well, and you can even throw it into your blender to emulsify it. You decide, Cuisinart blender, shake it, whatever you like to do. But when you're finished mixing that completely, it is going to come out, and my kitchen magic is going to show you, frothy and all combined, which is how we want it. Now, what do we do with this gorgeous dressing? We have our slaw, which I've sliced up. I like cabbage, red and yellow and green pepper, carrots, all kinds of fun, crunchy ingredients. And the reason we want to make this at the last minute, we don't want it to sog out. So right before you're about to build those buns, baby, you add your dressing. Add a little at a time. You can always add more. You know, you don't want to overdress your slaw because it's going to get soggy and wet, and you're going to lose your beautiful crunch. So let it sit, and then come back to it, revisit. If you want a little more zest, you add a little bit more. But let's get into building the bao bun. What I've got going on here is my gorgeous steamed buns. And when they come out, they are so soft. They're like a gorgeous pillow. All right, I have made my 5-spice pulled pork in advance. Dutch oven, very long, slow roast for hours. So this is always done in advance with your Chinese 5-spice. That's what I like to do it with. It adds a real Asian element, and those 5 spices have been perfectly blended for you. You can buy the blend, don't have to mix it yourself, and it has a gorgeous caramelizing effect when it actually slow cooks. You pull your pork apart and let those flavors seep into those crevices. So it should be completely lacquered in that Asian 5-spice. So this is well seasoned, very well pulled, and we are gonna just, and the nice thing is when you pull pork, you can eliminate any fat, because oftentimes the braising cut of the meat when you're doing pork is oftentimes a pork shoulder, or pork butt, but pork shoulder is usually the cut, and there's some fatty tendons in there. So when you braise it and you pull it, you get those right on out, and they melt away in that slow cook as well. So a nice hearty serving on this, and then that slaw, gorgeous, crispy, crunchy, colorful firecracker Asian slaw. That's what I call this. And it is just so bright and cheery, both for the palate and for the eye. You can't resist. And the nice thing is those steamed buns are so easy to hold on to. Oh my God, when you steam them yourself, they're pillowy. They're really, really tender in the mouth, yet they hold together and they comfort and hug that meat. And then that crunchy slaw, it's delicious. All right, I'm gonna keep moving because we've got some pot stickers, gyoza, that we are going to just, let me show you. If you wanna make your own, let me just show you how you do that. We are making the late night favorite of so many pot stickers, and what we can do is make them in advance. Best news is if you don't wanna make your own, you can go buy them. Go to your Asian market and go select the best product that you see and make those. However, let's just say you want to get down and dirty with your own recipe. Do this in advance. Okay, they actually sell gyoza wrappers, which is perfect because we know what we're making then. The ingredients can be pork, chicken, vegetables, whatever you want to put in there. Usually scallion, cabbage, all cooked down nice and beautifully. So it's nice and smooth to the bite. You want texture, but you don't want too big of a bite in there. And I like to caramelize ginger, soy, and reduce it. Look at that. So we get a little extra flavor into our meat. I don't cook it in, I cook that separately and stir it in so you can flavor the way you want while you're building. Now this is great. I've got chicken and pork. Like I said, I'm working with my pork right now. And what we're gonna do, if we didn't get raised making these, we are going to experiment together, and you're gonna watch me do just this exact thing. Now sometimes I have a tendency to overfill things, but I think I'm okay. I'm going to do a little, this is just a little egg wash. And what we like to do is pinch it along the way. I don't know if you can see how I'm doing that, but we pinch and seal, pinch and seal. And it's in the pinching that it gets sealed. If you feel like you put a little too much in there, take it out, remove a little bit. That's your freedom. But give it a try. This is so fun. And when you make them yourself, they're going to be every ingredient you want to see in there with that flavor combination. Okay, so set them aside. Not the prettiest, but it's going to work. We're going to try one more. Let's work that magic. I'm going to try to load a little less this time. Just play with me. Okay, we're going to fold it together. See, that's a nice fold. Let's do a little egg wash on that inside. And once again, just seal them up. Oh, that's fun. That's working for me. Right there, you're watching the magic happen. That is awesome gyoza. And then, just heat them in advance, and you've got that going on. You fry them and steam them. Hi, KTO. We're cooking up some pot stickers. Check this out. I've got a little bit of canola oil in combination with a little sesame oil, and I'm just browning up. What you want to do is get them toasty brown, at least on one side. So you're going to flip them. You're going to get them all nice and oiled up. You see that? That's beautiful. We're getting some color on these. It takes a little while. You want these on a high heat. You really do. For a nice good cook, because what's going to come next is after we toss these about, you're going to start cooking kind of fast here. You don't want them to stick, so you got to keep them moving. All right, you see me flowing on that? And you don't need them too brown, you just want to get them kind of lacquered. And I like that word lacquered because what that means is that covered on all sides. Okay, so nice and glossy. And watch this. This is our next step, and this is where the steam comes in. After we've got a little brown on them, not too much. A cup of water. And we'll be right back with a finished product. And once again, you know what works for these? When they're all plated up, the to-go container, you can put your sauce right on it. That way, if they drip, they're dripping in the container. That is a trick for late night. I'm telling you, get yourself some of these. The Korean favorite, the bibimbap. Really, that is what it's called, bibimbap. And it's this gorgeous bowl, and it's ever so popular right now. Let me show you first the bulgogi meat. Hi, KTO. Welcome to the Carnival Kitchen in the bulgogi recipe. Bulgogi. What is it? It's Korean marinated meat that has been grilled, and there's a little technique to this because then it's added to our bibimbap. Bibimbap. Everybody always asks, how do you say it? Bibimbap. Yes, it is. So anyway, here we go. What are the secret ingredients to the marinade? Okay, first I'm going to start with the steak because this is the most intriguing method. We've got a gorgeous ribeye. If you partially freeze it for about 30 seconds in the freezer, look at how thin you are then able to slice it. And that is beautiful. You can put it on your slicer, slice it nice and thin. They're all the exact same size. That's a real trick right now. The thin slice is how we want it. What we're going to do is create our marinade. And the marinade is going to be our traditional Asian ingredients. However, there's a few extras. So we've got our soy, our brown sugar, our rice wine vinegar. We've got our spicy sour salt, all of that good stuff. Ginger, garlic, green onion, everything that we normally put into something like that. And then let's step it up a notch. Asian pear. Asian pear is a fruity element that's added to this. And I don't know if you know what an Asian pear is, but this is what it looks like. And when we cut it, you can see there's going to be a core just like a regular apple or a pear. So if we're going to grate it, you can either core it out or grate it like this. I'm going to show you on our grater. what we're gonna wanna do is grate the flesh and use the juice. So get something to capture it and just grate. They're not super watery. They've got like a little juice release though, so you do wanna capture it. So after we're done with that, a nice fine grind, we are gonna add that to our marinade. And another secret ingredient, a little 7-Up, Sprite, something kind of with a little effervescence goes in there too. Look at how thick. The recipe is definitely going to be on my website, so don't worry about that. Look at how thick this gets. We are going to marinate our ribeye for an hour to 24, preferably 24 hours on the higher side. Overnight in the fridge is best. So count on a good day in advance on that one. This goes onto the grill, a minute on a hot grill. Flip it, 1 more minute. That's it. Look at how this comes out. We can just shred it so easily because of its fine. Marinade and grill, thin slice equals gorgeous tender meat. And once that is beautifully rendered and grilled, how do we build the rest of the bowl? Let's do it together. Hi there, KTO in the Carnival Kitchen, and we are gonna build our bibimbap right here in front of your very eyes. Where do I start? I've got a beautiful sticky rice, which I've already loaded into my bowl. And the ingredients get so exotic and so fun. We already have our bulgogi beef. We did that beautiful rye. Okay, so that's nice and seasoned. I'd like to load up a little section there. And then let's move around our bowl. What's next? Saute your spinach. If you want to do it in a little sesame oil, a little garlic, whatever you like, you decide, but definitely saute it down. See that it's nice and glossy. We want to crisp up our bean sprouts just a little bit, wilt and crisp at the same time, because when they hit the heat, they get a little softer. And they're not so raw tasting. Nothing on here is raw. Same thing with the carrot threads. Just hit them with a little bit of heat. You want a little crunch, but you don't want them raw. Again. And then, I love my baby bok choy. I show it all the time. It's gorgeous. Slice it to a bite size, saute it once again in your oils. If you want to have a little seasoning in there, do, but there's a lot going on here with our condiments next. Take your shiitakes and just roast them off in a dry pan, and then just season them slightly with a little soy if you want to. Just a little bit. So caramelize them first and then get them on there. That is incredible. Kimchi, everybody's favorite Korean condiment. Well, in my opinion it is. I could just eat this whole bowl. It's fermented cabbage, which is also a little bit spicy, but not too hot. It's got a sour, spicy flavor. It becomes one of those things at first, the first time you try it, you might be not sure. If you've never tried it before, try it again and again. That's what I encourage. It builds on you. You really love it. And gochujang, which is a Korean pepper paste. This has almost like a mild sweetness, but it's also spicy. So you see a lot of chefs lately working with this, and that's because it really is like Korean ketchup, except spicy. It's delicious. Okay, I love a toasted sesame seed. It adds a little nuttiness, so I'm gonna do that. And then the trick of all tricks is that you can fry your eggs in advance. And I'm gonna show you right here. These have been fried in advance. If you want to warm them a little bit, you can, but the warmth isn't necessary. What you're looking for is that runny yolk. So look, you can pick it up, place it right on top for your late night snack, and this is going to be absolutely incredible. Little extra garnish with that sesame. And then what you're left with is this incredible bowl of goodness. And look at that runny egg. Check that out. This is too good to be true. Kimchi, spicy meat, and all these sauteed beautiful vegetables on rice. Well, thanks so much for joining in my ethnic late night snacks. This has been a real treat. It's like you travel in your culinary palate. How exciting. And yet you're still at home with your friends late night partying. So cool. Join me for the next episode next time, because this is my favorite time together. See you next time.